This video really just pissed me off, bro. I think I speak for all fathers, and then somebody like me that's been paying child support for going on 8 years. You can eat shit. If you need child support to survive, you don't deserve custody of that child.
So I'm just going to get on here real quick, and I'm going to speak for this beautiful woman that you are talking to and a lot of single mothers on here. Sir, you can eat shit. I guarantee I'm not going to be the one to break this one to you, because you probably know, based on the amount you probably pay, and it's probably little less to next to nothing, that your baby mom would not be able to survive off of it. So you know very well that when this woman made this post, she's probably so thankful because she don't get help with shit, and she probably got little to less to next to nothing. The mother of your child brought a whole human life into this world. Unfortunately, that is yours for you. Have some more fucking respect. You should want that woman to succeed, and you should never want to pull that woman out of that child's life just based off the fact that she can't fully provide. Guess what? That shit's a lot of fucking work. Some of that shit none of you men could ever do. As a single mother, and most of us women, we were single mothers prior to even leaving your asses. We were doing it all by ourselves. You're telling me you want this woman to raise, cook, clean, make sure the kids get to all their obligations, and you're gonna sit here, lay back, and complain about the little bit of help that you have to do. Being a mother alone in itself is literally a full-time job plus overtime, and we don't get paid. So now being a single mother on top of being a full-time mother, that's 2 jobs now that we have. Show the mother of your child a little bit more respect.
So, if the child support was next to nothing or very little like this single mom criminal claims, then why collect the child support? And these modern women who complain that they don't help the father are the ones who divorce the father. That's the benefit of a relationship like marriage. The father helps out. You can't fire an employee then expect them to work for free right after when you can't find an applicant who can replace them. And with this single mom's logic, if a modern woman can't support herself and the child's her own, then that doesn't disqualify her from raising her kid. Yet, the single father supported the whole family, but he's deprived from seeing the kid, unless he gives up his resources. If being single is so hard because, as the criminal single mom says, it's working 2 full jobs, then why divorce the father? Single moms can collect very little or no child support if they had Chad's or Tyrone's kids. Because they pick 6 feet over a 6-figure salary, 6 inches over the character of a man, and a criminal record over a law-abiding man because he's boring. What do people in the comments section say about this? One man wrote, "Nobody told her to have a fucking kid." And that's true. With the freedom of an abortion with the consent of the father anytime, why would these women have kids if it's working 2 jobs? Could it be the child support they get for stealing a man's DNA? The rest of the comments are single moms. I get child support not because I need it, but because it's his responsibility to pay since he ain't here to help raise our child. Another woman expecting a man to do everything that a husband would with the commitment. Or she had a kid with a loser, and now she's living with the consequences. Child support is reimbursement for expenses the mother already covers. Majority of single moms live in poverty. So how are they being reimbursed for the money they didn't have in the first place? And it's more like it's reimbursement for money the mother has already spent, like to get her nails done, or to buy another pair of shoes, or to go to Starbucks. Another single mom wrote, "If you have child support coming out your check, it's because you aren't co-parenting, so the judge got involved." That's because many men realize it's better just to cut their losses and move on. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. What's the point of paying half of your check if you get every other weekend to see your kid? That's not enough time to properly raise a kid. That's not worth living check to check just to be an occasional parent.
Respectfully. today. Here's how you get a gravity facelift. It's instant and it's free. Look at the results.
I've been doing good, so good.
How to act when you see an attractive person. Make eye contact. Now look down, hold 1, 2, slowly look back, now look away. Soft smile, scratch your neck, lick your lips. Make eye contact.
You can't be the only single woman over the age of 50 that goes to work, comes home, drops your clothes, and grabs really quick something to eat because we don't cook anymore. Let me know if that's you.
This single mom of 3 is mad that people, quote unquote, judge her for going out. Well, of course they're in the right. She has 3 fucking kids who need to be taken care of. Their issues aren't gonna stop when she goes out hoeing with her 304 friends. This is what being a parent is all about, to sacrifice for the future generations. She and 80% of the women who file for divorce chose to be a single mom. This is why the 2-parent households are the best, because one parent can rest while the other works, and the other can rest while the one parent takes care of the kids. But she chose this, so she had the freedom to screw as many men as possible so she can continue being a 304 while being a so-called mom. This is the consequences of the actions, and she's hoping a simp will bail her out.
Finally. Fuck! I thought I got rid of all the nasty ass fucking sexist, racist motherfuckers on this earth. Like, fuck! Fuck! I'm gonna need bleach for this.
Oh wow, I wonder what this is packaging for. It's a thermometer.
We'd be good together, don't you think?
No,
Why?
because I'll break your heart.
Maybe I'll break yours.
Nobody breaks my heart.
Today is International Spicy Workers' Rights Day. What does that mean? That means it's your chance to spoil your local spicy worker. Buy them something off their wish list. Send them a shit ton of money. Spread education. You have the power.
Hi, I'm an in-person SW and I've been so for about 12 years now. For me, like a lot of service industry jobs, some days are great, some days are bad, and some days are relatively neutral. For the most part, it's just work and I'd rather be doing this than doing anything else that's accessible to me. It's the one job that accommodates my needs as a person who is chronically ill and unfortunately needs to take a lot of days off to recover or deal with my chronic illness. And the amount that I'm paid relative to the amount of labor that I do helps to compensate for my body just hating me. I'm able to live really comfortably, live in a nice apartment in a nice neighborhood, have savings, investments, travel when I want to, and have the time and ability to manage living in this human body that I've got. So I do enjoy some aspects of my work, mainly being able to survive this capitalistic hellscape that we call a country. What I don't love is the stigma and violence that is oftentimes directed at people like me who turn to this line of work because there aren't many options.
Men are the easiest thing in the entire world. If you are wondering how you and another woman got the same man, it is because men are the easiest thing in the entire world. I have never wanted a man and not gotten him. Do you have any idea how many men have wanted me and not gotten me? There has never been a single man that I have wanted that I have not gotten, because men
I downloaded Hinge this year. I've never had a dating app in my life before, and I'm glad because it's
terrible. But so when I do match with someone and someone piques my interest on there, I try not to start off the conversation with what do you do, because that feels shallow in itself. But
so you start with like a gentle sext. You're like, can I send you something weird?
Here's
like,
my link.
Yeah, you're like, subscribe here. You can see whatever.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I literally woke up like this. Makeup is flaking the fuck off. Slept in it, didn't give a shit. Anyway, I wanted to go on a little rant because I have seen such an uptick in people wanting to create spicy pages. And as someone who's been in the spicy network for 9 years now, in that industry, I just want you to know that you need to consider everything, and I do mean everything, before starting a spicy page. This shit is not easy, okay? It might be fast money, but it is not easy money, okay? You need to consider who all's going to see it, because they will eventually, all right? You need to consider your work ethic, consistency.
Hi, I'm Louise. I'm a former youth pastor, former science teacher, a former drug user, a current sex worker, and a full-time counselor. Even if someone is an online personality, it's important to look at them complexly. I am much more than just a sex worker. I am much more than an addict.
So she's a professional degenerate and someone counseling the youth? No wonder why the West is failing. The whole point to a youth counselor is to prevent girls from becoming adult entertainers. That's a clear sign of failure in life. Because once a sex worker or a hoe, always one. There's no phases or recovering from that. She's already deep in the cock carousel black hole. Just like modern women, she wants to live life without accountability. And worst of all, she's going to influence the younger generation of girls to do the same and think the same.
The voice that I've kind of created for myself out there in the public, and the more I understand how much further we have to go for sex worker rights, I think I've made a conscious decision that I don't intend to leave until I see some of the sex worker rights improve. I don't know how long that's going to take. It might never happen. Maybe I'm going to be a sex worker till I'm 90 and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. There's still a little bit too much work to be done before I leave.
The so-called voice she created for herself is the hoe kind. Who is she and these feminist 304 pros trying to fool with these elaborate descriptions of their work as if they're an Oscar award-winning actor? Spreading the legs and just panning the camera down needs no method acting. There's no secret to it. And her choice to fight for the streetwalkers is a massive cope. She's making a necessity out of virtue. No great man will ever commit to her, and she knows that. That's why she's on her feminist crusade. And I hate to give her the bad news, but once she hits the wall, her appeal will drop like a stone in the water. The same simps who subscribe to see a cute chick won't be around once she turns into a hag. She's going to learn that this is a two-way street. Just like she likes simps for their money, they like her for her looks. Let's read the comments. Chick commented, "These girls seem more proper than lots of the YouTubers and Instagrammers. Spoiler alert, they're all trash. So it's like comparing vomit to shit." Someone responds to the comment, "The operative word is seem. Everything is a facade, especially their business. It's just professionalism, actually. Random people on social media just take it as their private audience, so they're more natural and don't put on airs. These chicks are pros into fooling the men who get rejected by most women, thinking that they're rock stars and Chaz. They also know how to play the innocent angle really well because it makes the men they interact with forget they suck a lot of privates to pay the bills. Just like you have to get X amount of work done to get paid so you can pay your mortgage, car note, or rent. These nightwalkers gotta give X amount of quickie BJs and receive raw dogs to make enough for the weekly stay or rundown hotel they live at." Dude comments, "All three of them are so pretty. If they didn't have any type of appeal, they'd be broke. So of course, they're going to be decent looking at least." Another comment said, "The perspectives are fascinating. They are incredible ladies. Living in America, sex workers face discrimination. Except for Nevada, other states prosecute the workers and somehow give the people seeking sex a free pass. It's time for legalized sex work. And if you are opposed to sex work, do not participate or hire someone for sex." Can simps stop blowing smoke up their ass? No. Incredible ladies are mothers who stay at home and raise 5 kids while the father works a hard job. These chicks are typical thoughts who are at least upfront and honest that they want money for sex. Most modern women will do this, but call it dating.
I've lost my whole family, and it sucks. So a lot of times when people ask me if they should do porn, I tell them no. I tell them that it makes life really hard. It makes dating really hard. It makes your family life really hard. It makes intimacy hard. You're putting yourself out there and the world is now judging you. You have to be okay with being shamed every day of your life. I don't even want to have children because I do porn, because I'm worried of the way that people will treat my child. With me personally, my mom was supportive in the beginning. She kind of just let me do whatever, that I think it was a good thing. I had a lot of freedom. As time progressed and I became successful, I started to feel like my mom was using me so that she could live a more luxurious lifestyle. When I started to set like these boundaries, not giving her money or things like that, it made our relationship a bit more difficult and almost toxic. And so it sucks. I don't have a mom anymore. I don't talk to her. I miss having a mom. I feel like you can't rewind and you can't go back. I don't have that relationship with her anymore. I don't ever think I will. And that bums me out. Bums me out a lot. I talked to my dad, and he struggles with my job being in the industry. He's also religious. Recently, I wanted to go visit him, and he said that I can't go visit because his wife, my stepmom, doesn't want me there. I'm not allowed to go visit my dad anymore because my stepmom doesn't like that I do porn. But then he told me that when I was like, can we like go get coffee and like we could go like get breakfast, and he's like, I don't want to be seen in public with you. And that just hurt so bad, and it sucks. I lost my family. I don't talk to like my brothers or sisters. I think that they all kind of like try to take advantage of me and stuff, or they're just like, my dad don't want to be around me.
At least the pro-ho is going to spare a kid from dealing with the consequences of her actions. For right now, wait till she has baby rabies, like when she's post-wall and her body is telling her to procreate to maybe lock down a man. Her wish upon a star to not be single for the rest of her life. And it sounds like she was raised by, you guessed it, a single mom. And so of course, the single mom is going to cheer her on to leech off of her. Single moms, as I've always said, are worse than worthless. They're a liability and a loss. They don't add to your life, they take. The mom of this OnlyFans model literally helped her daughter ruin her life so she can use the daughter as an ATM. Talk about pissing in your own well. It's sad. That's feminism for you. The modern woman would cut her own nose to spite her face. What do people think? Top comment says, for what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Brilliant. What's the point of being successful if you have no friends or family? This is what most OnlyFans models are gonna face. Not only the men they don't want to commit to them, but their family and friends will disown them. Another comment said, few years back she said that everyone should do porn. It's all fun and games until there's consequences. Women's kryptonite. I guess a simp comments, the irony is, people judge her because they recognize her, and they recognize her because they watch her. A simple Google search of her pics or name will make any man aware of her X-rated life, and she doesn't care about her subscribers, because they're simps and there's a good reason why they're on OnlyFans. What she cares about are men who don't need OnlyFans. Someone responds to the comment, there is no irony there. Dude responds, there is, because the people who judge her also consider the consumption of her work to be wrong, and yet they have to consume her work to know who she is so they can judge her. A lot of guys find out about her through social media like this video. I personally didn't know she even existed until I came across her video on YouTube. And honestly, if I saw her face in 6 months in a lineup, I wouldn't remember this basic bitch. Another comment. What I never get is, surely the consequences of doing porn, such as alienating yourself from parents, are entirely predictable. So, given the inevitable issues it's going to cause, why do they do it in the first place? Because there's not a strong enough stigma in society against it. Also, these modern women are attracted to money and fame like flies to shit. They were raised wrong, probably lost their virginity at a young age, so their mental development is stunted to the equivalency of a teenager. But most importantly, they've never faced real consequences in life because they look good. Their whole life has been on easy mode. Men put up with their bad behaviors, their weak fathers. If they're around, spoil them. They can get out of DUIs and traffic tickets. They'll push the limits until they kill someone or do porn. And then it's too late. It can't be undone.
There's like some comedians like back in the day that just got chastised and run off, and it was really terrible.
I don't think I would ever run a woman off for that. There's a lot of things I've run off for, but showing her tits.
I've dated, and I've dated guys who were like, "Oh yeah, that's totally fine, like totally cool," and then a couple months in, they're just like, "I don't really like think that, like, why don't you stop?" And I'm like, "No."
Why?
Yeah, because they don't want other people looking at it. Because I'm now their property in their head.
Listen,
you know how men.
To me,
Mm-hmm.
Men undress your woman anyway when she walking down the street, whether she's in Walmart or anyway. Now, granted, they didn't see a butt ass naked, but they still look at because I sex her exactly.
All the time.
They're not seeing her as property, but realizing that they're paying the full price for something men get for a price of a Happy Meal. It's like buying a car but never getting to drive it. What's the point of investing in it then? To be fair, it's the simp's fault for trying to first date a Pro 304. But also, they're trying to change her when it's never gonna happen. There's a saying you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, and that's because it's been tried and it has failed every time. Let's read the comments. Top comment, simp. That's funny. And he responds, bless you brother, have a great day. It's just sad he's throwing away his dignity trying to justify these OF models. Another dude comments, he'll say anything in hopes she will touch it. This is great. We need more people to call out the simps and manginas. They're doing more harm than good, just to get pity sex. And chances are, there will be no happy ending.
Holly and Nellie are meeting 44-year-old Angela, who recently left the glamour world behind and now runs a successful clothing line.
This is how I looked before my plastic surgery.
In the last 19 years, Angela has had more than 45 cosmetic procedures and spent nearly £50,000 in a bid to stay ahead in the glamour industry.
I've seen very, very few women be able to successfully use the industry towards their benefit. You have to have some kind of plan. Otherwise, you are going to be 40 years old, you are going to have no skills. I'm sure you'll be beautiful when you're 40, but you're still going to be a 40-year-old stripper.
My stage name was Monique. It got really hard after a while to feel like what everyone wanted me for was my sexuality and feeling like no one saw value in me for anything other than that. Who are you really? What is your true self? And I would say that anything that takes you away from that is something to really think about.
At least these pro suckers are honest. The old hag hit a bunch of walls, so if she's really in her 40s and has $50,000 worth of surgeries, she must look like roadkill without them. And for the streetwalker who claimed men only saw her for one thing, that's the price she got to pay from doing that work. Because at the end of the day, that's her true value. She traded her dignity to make easy money. She can't have it both ways.
My hot take about the sex industry and sex work is that it is really hard. And sometimes it is really traumatic. And honestly, things don't need to be the way that they are. Like, at all. But I don't feel like sex workers really ever have safe spaces to openly talk about their jobs or the trauma they face or like the violence they possibly endure because people are always trying to rescue us or save us or talk over us or create an in-access to an industry we literally rely on or perpetuate more violence and stigma and criminalization. And like, it sucks because at the same time that I'm making videos about my sugar daddy, I also can't talk about the times he's tried to assault me. Because then people will just be like, well, you can't keep seeing your sugar daddy. And then I'm like, well, yeah, but also I need to keep paying my bills. And I think a lot of that also aids to like, people are always like, you guys glamorize and glorify an industry. And it's like, no, we don't. No, we don't. We have to lean into respectability politics and only share certain aspects of this. And we're also dealing with stigma and criminalization and fucking censorship that none of y'all bitches want to get in the boat and have a conversation with us about, because, like, you don't think that censorship affects you. That's real loud right now. That is real loud. But, like, every time sex workers do try to hold space and, like, take up space to be like, sometimes this shit isn't great and it's hard and XYZ, I'll have my clients being like, is this about me? Do I make you sad? I'll have swerfs and radfems and just the most ill-intended motherfuckers, you know, co-opting the violence I face at work to perpetuate more violence and inaccess to me at work. I mean, leftists, other feminists, whole swaths of, like, progressive groups and motherfuckers, like, do not want to listen, collaborate, engage, hold space, please, bangs, please. And I think it's annoying. Especially when I watch, like, swerfs and radfems, like, spend so much time reaming against an industry they themselves are not struggling to survive in. And, like, when my legislators spend so much time, like, conflating sex work with trafficking. And it's like, we're right here. Generations of workers are right here, actually. Different types of workers doing different types of work. And, like, I know everyone and their mom has some lukewarm take about, like, fucking sex work. But, like, damn, that whorephobia is deep, dude. I mean, there are times I've, like, talked about my job and then motherfuckers would be like, just go get a new job. As if so many people are not turning to this line of work to be accommodated in some regard. And I know it's the hypervisibility and the way in which civilians glorify and glamorize this shit. But it's hard. And I wish I could be more honest about the realities of how hard it is without that violence being co-opted or, I don't know, me losing a whole platform.
That's hilarious that the feminists are attacking each other. We need more of that. Get the popcorn out and watch these bitches catfight. She can't complain about it. She chose to live this lifestyle knowing the risks. The sugar daddy assaulted her, but she sure came back to him for that extra $1. And how do you know it was true assault and not her stopping his advances that he paid for? She keeps on saying it's hard. No, it's not. That's why she's doing it to avoid hard and real work. That is, staying a virgin till marriage, staying in shape, or doing a real job like engineering or plumbing. Try tarring roofs in the middle of summer on the East Coast. That's hard work. Let's see the comments. I love this video. Sex workers, including me, have to deal with constant marginalization from the religious right and anti-SW activists. Apparently, feminists look down on them too. That's what she was complaining about. Another comment, on disability, I think that's really interesting because we don't think about SW with disabilities who can't work in a regular space but can make a lot. That's what a lot of these feminists claim. They're disabled so they can't do regular jobs. Yet, there are people in wheelchairs working corporate jobs all the time, or honest jobs at home like coding or transcribing. But that's actual work, and most modern women are too dumb or lazy to do real work.
You're a feminist doing a that's empowering, yet you're relying on creepy, disgusting men who think you are disgusting and trash to ironically pay your bills, which is probably the most degrading thing in the entire world.
I am normally a support all women girly. It is 2023, bitch. I have no more patience for ignorant women like this constantly slandering, talking down on, and literally speaking over SWs, especially when they try and use the guise of feminism to further push their ridiculous point. The second we are brought into this world, we are taught to make ourselves smaller, more obedient, and if we follow this set of rules, which we will later find out were created by the patriarchy and we should never dare question, we will be rewarded and have amazing, fulfilling lives. Misogyny is so deeply ingrained and normalized in our society. If we are not actively working to unlearn fucked up shit that we have been taught, that internalized misogyny will become so fucking loud. I know some women believe if they side with the oppressor, they echo that same hateful rhetoric, they will be absolved from the abuse, violence, and misogyny of the patriarchy. And sure, in that moment, the men may choose you, but only to further push their hatred and lack of respect for women. At the end of the day, still don't view you as an equal. And if given the chance, they would do the exact same things to you that they would do to the SWs that you are speaking down on.
Whereas actually, if you were in an office, it would be a lot less degrading. You could actually have respect in an office.
The same offices are riddled with SA and harassment, ones filled with sexism and unequal pay, same offices that will work you to the fucking ground, ask you for unwavering loyalty and lifelong commitment. steal your ideas as their own, only to fire you the minute you fall ill or get pregnant or are mentally unwell? Why is being an SW one of the only professions where we have think pieces on whether or not it is empowering? We ask plumbers if they feel empowered. We ask construction workers and professional athletes how they feel selling their body. This is capitalism, bitch. Unless you are the upper echelon 1%, we are all selling our bodies, selling our labor for a fucking check. Choosing your own hours, working remotely, screening your clients, some getting paid exceptionally well. It may not be for you, and that's fine, but mind your fucking business.
No one with any level of like a brain would ever respect someone who does.
Men hate SWs because they have to pay for something they believe they are entitled to. Women hate SWs because men told them to. Because the patriarchy made you so ashamed, stripped away the joy of exploring your own body and pleasure. Being confident with your body and your sexuality, that was deplorable. Because how else could men get what they want from you when they want it? It is so fucked up that we have been taught to feel this way, but it is our job to unlearn it. There are conversations that could be had about SW. Exploitation, safety for all, decriminalization, censorship. But no one's talking about that on these podcasts. They just want to slut shame and tell themselves that they are in a higher tier of society because of some broken moral compass decided by some of the worst people on earth. If there was no demand, how would they be making money? Your anger is in the wrong fucking place. And there is no feminism without SWs.
Is she trying to be an X-Men with those claws? Like, you know the bitch is certified useless when the nails are longer than her fingers. But the real question is, how does she wipe her ass? Maybe a simp cleans it for her. And no wonder why she's single. She lives life on easy mode with her looks and she acts like she's oppressed. And like I said, super funny that the prostitutes and some feminists are going to war with each other. Both suck, but the hookers suck more. No pun intended. And back to her claims, did this dumb hoe really claim that athletes didn't like to work or didn't feel empowered? A benchwarmer in the NBA is richer than 99% of the people in America. These athletes are treated like gods. When LeBron James tweets, it makes the news. Also, a lot of plumbers are super happy. They make over $50 an hour, which is 6 figures per year. They're debt-free because they didn't get a worthless major. They're usually homeowners at a young age, and if someone treats them like shit, that person will be living in shit because the plumber can go to the next person who needs their pipes fixed. A plumber will never run out of work because some fat fuck will always clog the toilet. The comments are full of other women co-signing her delusions. You dropped this. Well said. Louder. I'm early, and I love this. You killed it as always. Thought comments. If men can use my beauty for their own goals, then damn it, I will too. I'll use creepy man money to pay my bills. Why not? What goals? And how do they use her beauty? Thought it was her body, her choice. And these 304s will say anything to justify their degeneracy. More comments saying something similar. Having creepy men pay my bills for 20 minutes of my time versus 50 hours a week sounds like a power move to me. I'm unsure how getting creepy guys who don't respect me to pay my bills is worse than working for a creepy boss who doesn't respect me. Taking advantage of shitty men? Sign me up. I'm exploiting gross men actually, and it's very fulfilling. You hear that, simps? This is what these 304s really think of you when you sub to their OnlyFans or cash up them $200 for feet pics. These strong and independent women sure like to rely on men to make money. None of them are talking about learning to code so they don't have to deal with creepy men. Or God forbid, marry a great guy with a great job so they don't have to deal with creepy guys. It's all this fake power BS of allowing creepy guys to desecrate them in exchange for their bills to be paid. Let's check in on her once this thought hits the wall or once someone creates an AI version of her so she can't make money off her looks. Let's see if she has the same energy.
You see this? We want this. We love this. We need this. But this? Yeah, we don't need this.
As a member of the African American community, we would like to humbly decline your offer. Since you don't want your own race, maybe the Hispanics will take you instead. So sorry, you have been declined.
Thank you for the referral on that, but the Hispanic community, we're gonna have to pass on that. You could check the Asians though.
As a representative of the Asian community, after careful consideration, unfortunately, we cannot take her. She will also be banned from ever taking out Chinese again. Though, we will offer her up to the Indians.
After a not-so-thorough examination and as a member of the Indian community, we would also like to humbly deny this offer. Maybe the Egyptians would be interested.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but there's no way. Gotta pass this one back to the white boys.
No.
It's not an issue if someone has preferences. We all have them. Some men like tanned women, Others like short women. Others prefer a woman around 100 pounds, and so on. And it's not a problem to outwardly voice their preferences. The issue is to put others down while voicing a preference. Like when women say they want a man 6 feet or taller and emphasize wanting a real man, as if everyone less than 6 feet aren't. Or they say they want a rich man and call anyone who isn't making 6 figures broke. Usually hot women do this because they can, but with social media and simps, you fuglies doing this too, because feminism has pumped the body positivity BS in them. Men don't do that. They just say they want a fit and friendly woman. They don't need to diss fat bitches because they don't even think about them. Yet post-wall women and wide loads still have a problem with that, claiming men are body shaming but have no problem calling a man small dick energy. So when less than average looking chicks put a group of men down while stating her preference, she's going to get the return smoke. And as you saw, a representative of each race on TikTok rejected her. And if dogs, cows, and hippos could talk, they would have rejected her too. Let's read the comments. Thought comments, it's the fetishizing black men for me. Is this feminist blind? We have preferences and she clearly stated hers. Just because a woman wants a black man doesn't mean she's fetishizing them. I don't know who she's trying to impress. Another comment. Her human membership got canceled. If all the races are rejecting her, then maybe she should start asking animals.
God, where were you in the moments when I didn't feel chosen by this person? Where were you in the moments when I was hurt by this person? And I felt like the Lord gave me this visual when I was dating this guy. In the moments when I never felt chosen by him, I never felt seen by him. Where were you in that moment? And I felt like the Lord whispered, I was sitting right next to you. And I was whispering in your ear, but I choose you. Even if he doesn't, I choose you. I believe that imagery of Jesus, like, man, we break up with people that isn't God's best. Walk into rooms confident, knowing that Jesus is like, but I choose you. And so it's just that reminder. Jesus is sitting next to you, right here, right now, whatever that looks like, saying, I choose you.
Bitches will use any excuse to explain away why they're single. The reason why the guy may not have given her as much attention as she felt she deserved is because she already has a man. His name is Jesus Christ. In all seriousness, these born-again Christian single women who used to be 304s aren't duping as many great men anymore. So, as Christian as she may act, citing the Bible every chance she gets, people who grew up in the church can see how fake it is. My main point is that real Christians aren't quoting the Bible 24/7. If she was truly a Christian, it wouldn't be about her, but the man's needs. She would be more concerned about pleasing a man than him paying attention. And spoiler alert, he'd pay attention to her more if she invested into him. Because in the Bible, it says a woman must submit to the man, preferably the husband. But these feminists will conform the Bible to avoid consequences. Let's see if anyone in the comments notices her fakery. Top comment is a post-wall who said, "This made me teary. Really hard day, feeling so useless and small, but yet too much. Thank you for putting it this way." Most modern women who hit the wall are useless to most men. Without the looks and youth, they might as well be a man. A lot of post-wall born-again Christians are identifying with this post, with comments like, "So beautiful and true. This is powerful. I literally was just asking God why. Show me a sign you hear me, and this was the first thing on my page. Powerful. It's powerful. Cope. That's about it. It's not a speech convincing soldiers to run into a machine gun nest or people to join a revolutionary startup." Another comment. Aren't Christian men supposed to see the heart? Proves they are no different from other men. That's hilarious. They saw a harlot and acted accordingly. These post-walls think Christian men have lower standards and will forgive them for their past, and when only simps will do that. The good Christian men are already married with kids or are looking for a virgin 18-year-old woman of God to marry. She can go to a mosque or temple and she'll find the same results. The men she wants will ignore her there too.
So I just watched a TikTok post of a woman who said everything that I'm thinking, but I've never shared. And it's about being older and being single and not having children. It's pretty hard. It's harder to say. And I never speak out about it.
it's a difficult thing knowing that you're living this life without children and without anybody there. I'm single. Dating has been tough, and being in a relationship is extinct. A little while back, a few weeks ago, I suffered a mild heart attack, and I had to take an Uber to the hospital, to the ER. And being a nurse, I had a feeling it was a heart attack, and it was the worst feeling in the world, sitting there on the curb waiting for an Uber to come and pick me up. I didn't think I was going to make it, and it was just disheartening to not have anybody there but an Uber driver to take me to the ER. So let me go back to the post that this woman made, and it was about being older and alone and suffering mentally with this of being alone, not having children, and just the woes of it all. It's like I go to work, I do what I have to do to survive, and it's a struggle just to wake up every day knowing I'm going to work just to pay my bills, and then what? Like, I'm struggling with this every day. I'm getting older. My health has failed me, and who's going to be there for me? I feel like us women who are in the same boat, and there's a lot of us out there, I know there are, I just want to hear it, because I feel like sometimes I'm alone in all of this, and I would like to know that there's other women out there who are in the same boat. And gosh, I would love to get a commune or just get a bunch of women together. I wanted to buy land. I mean, it's so astronomical right now to buy something. The prices of land here in Utah and homes, it's just astronomical. I can't afford it. And I would much rather be with a group of women anyhow who have like minds and come together and build something together. I would love to do that. And I'm a nurse. I can go anywhere, and I'm willing to. I've been challenged lately with these thoughts of just being alone. And like that woman said, and I wish I could stitch her video, but I'm kind of an ignoramus and I don't know how to do that. So I'm just, hopefully she'll find me on here. But I'm there, I'm with her, and I'd like to hear from more women, to hear if you're going through this too, because I feel so alone. It's like you wake up every day and go to work, and is that what life's all about? I don't know. All my friends have their lives and families, and I don't have anybody. What do I do for the holidays? I'm alone. I have been for a long time, and I'm kind of over it. So please reach out. Let me know what everybody thinks. I was kind of afraid to post this video, but after watching that video, I kind of felt more empowered, and I hope that we can empower each other and help each other out. So, there you have it. Let me know.
She wrote in the video description, being alone in your 50s is a real struggle. I'm guessing as a nurse she was required to get the jab to keep her job, so that might be why she's an issue you usually see with 70-year-olds or older. However, that's another topic for another day. There are many men who live alone, without health insurance, and if anything happens, they gotta figure it out. They're not complaining, so why is this strong and independent woman acting like she's the only one that has to go through this? Because she's hoping her being a dame in distress will be the Batman signal to have a captain save a hoe to save her. Also, a lot of men in the West thought they had someone, like a wife, until they get sick and lose their job and the wife leaves them at the lowest point. She and the many modern women can't have it both ways. They chose to be nasty women because they claimed being a stay-at-home mom was oppressive. The stay-at-home mom is enjoying being oppressed at home, relaxing while these free women have to go to work every day to pay the bills for the rest of their lives. She concludes that if she and other post-wall 50-year-olds came together to build a commune, life would be better, as if somehow food would be given to them just because leftover women came together. This is why post-walls vote for higher taxes, because they get tired of working and want the state to provide for them. They want other men that they don't have to commit to work so they don't have to. Let's read the comments. Modern woman comments, you can still have children and husband and feel all alone, believe me. And that's why men aren't getting married anymore and have kids with these modern women, because that's still not enough for these bitches. When post-walls get married, the marriage doesn't magically tame them into a dutiful wife. They're still rabid, and after the honeymoon phase is over, they'll get bored and crave that hot girl summer. A thought responded, yep, also my kids stress me the fuck out, financially, mentally, and I just had my second divorce. She don't know how lucky she is, and I have cancer. She's okay. Talk about karma. Cancer is what she deserves for wasting 2 marriages and stealing alimony and child support. Hopefully she goes bald for 2 years and gets rejected by simps, then dies a slow, painful death. If she's telling the truth, that she has a financial burden of raising kids, then she probably had kids from Chads and Tyrones. She picked them. She knew they didn't have a steady career, but she wanted that wild sex behind the dumpster. And now is getting cancer because of the added stress of being a single mom, working jobs, and barely raising 2 kids. That's strong and independent for you. A post-wall comments, we need sorority houses for over 50 plus. Women in the video comments, yay! They will all be miserable at a certain point because first, they'll have to be with other Karens and bitches, and secondly, they will be on a massive dick withdrawal. It will be nothing but misery, especially when shit starts to break and none of them wants to do a man's job to fix anything. Greatest prank would be going to one of these post-wall communal houses and releasing rats and mice and watching them go batshit crazy. A bunch of women are proving red pill and MGTOW truths, with comments like, you can feel alone when you have kids and are in a relationship, trust me. I was married and lonely. I had to take myself to an ER all by myself when I was married, choosing to stay single. It happens even when you're married and have children. We need friends that will be there for us. It's hard making friends. Just followed, I'm 51 and being alone is hard, even with children and a hubby at times, sending love. Yo, you can't make this up. This proves these modern women just want the wedding but not the marriage. That's why they're divorced. Another post-wall commented, I fainted in my house and had no idea how long I was out. I woke up to blood coming out of my nose and a bruise on my head. No one there to call. They chose that single life and then to divorce if they got a sucker to get married to. They want to be strong and independent. There you go. A widow comments, I get it. My husband passed and children not close. Feel very alone and have the same thoughts. Trying to build a village, but it's very difficult. That one is sad, and usually couples die relatively close within each other because they can't take being apart. Those are the ones I really feel sorry for. Another post-wall comments, I am going to be 51 in my husband's, leaving me after 18 years for another woman. I'm so scared of being alone. This is what happens. Men get the last laugh. For whatever the reason for the man leaving, it must be a good one. Obviously he just upgraded, but it takes a lot more for men to just leave. The guy probably didn't get enough value from the relationship. Instead of realizing and making up the slack because her looks were sagging, she probably nagged all day and did even less wife duty. If they got married 18 years ago, then he married her at 33. Definitely post-wall and used up. He realized he made a mistake, so went MGTOW and upgraded. Finally, a happy ending in this.
I don't do two-part videos, so I'm going to try and get this in 3 minutes, and it needs a lot more than 3 minutes. But let me tell you a fucking story here, okay? I'm a repo guy. I don't hide it. I just see a scenario that I've seen time and time again, not necessarily in Ontario where I live, but in Alberta. And a particular file I was working. He was working oil and gas. This boy's made a lot of fucking money at one point in time. This guy was making in excess of $140,000 a year. The economy goes for shit. Oil and gas goes through the toilet. Buddy loses his job. Company shuts down. Does what he's got to do. Takes a job at $60,000. Well, that shit ain't good enough for the rig pig that he hooked up with. 2 kids. She buggers off. Goes to court. I want child support. Your Honor. Last year he made $140,000. That is what his child support is based on. He can't afford that. Nobody can. Because he went from $140,000 to $60,000. He's doing the best he can. He loves his kid. So, he's got some decisions to make. Make his truck payment, his insurance payment, his house payment, whatever other payments he's got to make. First one he stops is his insurance payment. Driving with no insurance. Risk it. The second thing, he loses his place to live. Now the guy's living in his truck. Yep, I am going to get a lot of hate for this, but it is my job and it is what I do. Now he's behind on his truck payments. All his toys are gone. This woman's gone. She's got the kids. And he's got this financial obligation that he can't pay. Child maintenance now seizes his driver's license. Now he can't drive. Can't work because he can't drive. Can't drive because he's got no insurance. And he's got no license. Then he loses his truck. Now, I kept in contact with this guy because he was a really decent guy. Couple of weeks. A couple of weeks after I lost contact with him, I found out he killed himself. Because he couldn't survive. He couldn't survive financially. He couldn't survive mentally. Now, the economy? Yep, shit happens. But he went and got a job, making less money. He could have gone to court and got his child support reduced. He couldn't afford to go. He's dead. Gone. Now, you want to know how child support can ruin a man's life? Think about that story before you post shit.
The commenter is a woman, and not surprisingly, she got her answer. Yes, women, try to pay an extra car note and see if it doesn't make your life harder. This goes to show that modern women don't really understand what it's like to be on your own. Men, if you find yourself in a situation where you had to pay child support and it's going to be a real financial burden and you don't get 50-50 parenting at the very least, just walk away and save the documents. And when the kid or kids turn 18, give them the documents that has the unfair terms and they'll see the truth. That you wanted to be in their life, but it was financially impossible. That would be the best revenge on the deadbeat single mother because the kids are going to hate her from then on. The comment says it all. If a woman can't afford a child, she receives housing and food stamps. A guy can't afford it if he goes to jail. Funny, that's how things work, and the guy is called a deadbeat. That's why a majority of single mothers who chose to be single should be called deadbeats. Why does the kid whose dad makes $100K a year cost more than the kid whose dad makes $40K? Because the state claims the kid who comes from a $100K household needs to maintain that lifestyle. In other words, the mother should maintain that lifestyle of going out to lunch every day. And yes, The courts don't audit the deadbeat mother to make sure she actually spends the money on the kid. I spent 30 grand trying to get custody from an abusive addict to save my kids and ended up paying her. System's rigged, boys. The feminist courts doesn't care how competent the deadbeat mother is because then the state could raise the kids and make them into SJW drones. Another father commented, I have a court order to see my child. Mother refuses, but if I break a court order, look out. Men have no rights but a money man for useless mothers. These judges are usually hardcore feminists who set out to punish as many men as possible. And these modern women use their kids as a pawn. That's why half of them aren't aborted. Don't have family in USA or Canada. Don't have a family in most Western countries. They're anti-family and they're not even worth raising a stable family in. What's the point of raising a daughter in?
My son was taken from me and moved out of state when he was 2 months old. I immediately filed an emergency order in court to bring him back, but because of how young he was, it was never ordered, and I was given visitation out of state. I drove 8 hours twice a week in order to see him after working 12-hour days. I was ordered to pay $500 in child support and forced to stay in hotels just to stay active in his life. This went on for over a year. I couldn't afford anything, and his first birthday was celebrated in a car. After 2 years, I'm still here fighting for joint custody, but this time around, I was able to throw him a huge party with all of his family for the first time. I love my boy and I'll never give up on him.
Single moms can kidnap the kids and go to another state, and the state will help her get away with it. The kid has 50% of their father's DNA, then automatically gets 100% of the say if the kid even lives. For the ignorant people out there asking why he can't just move to the state that kid's in, moving is super expensive, and good paying jobs are far few in between. As much as the father is doing all he can to be in the kid's life, is that enough to overcome the mom's brainwashing or her lack of parenting? Because seeing a kid every weekend is not enough to instill discipline, to help him with his homework. The top comment, I'm fucking in tears. We need more dads like this. Most dads are like that. They just get divorced for petty reasons by modern women. Chick commented, now this is effort. Keep fighting. Your deliverance is coming. And someone responded, it's not cute or sweet. He shouldn't have to do any of that just to see his child. Think of all the money wasted that could have been used on something else just to maintain a broken relationship for the kid. As you saw in the video, the father didn't have money for the kid's birthday because he spent it all on just getting there. If child support was abolished, the mother wouldn't be able to afford to play these games, because she'd have to live close to the father and maybe, just maybe, do what's best for the kid and not divorce the father to raise the kid.
So I'm extremely fucking pissed right now. I'm extremely frustrated with the child support service and the shit that they put us fucking good dads through. I know there's deadbeat assholes out there and the shit like that, but us fucking good dads that do good. Look at all this paperwork I have set up and everything for you. My Zoom call was just now for court to modify my child support and talk about visitation, all the other stuff and everything that she's trying to screw me over. For one child, I pay $860 a month. For the other 2 children of mine that I have 3 sons, I pay another almost $800 a month in child support. I take care of all medical expenses. Everything comes out of my paycheck. I come home with less than $600 a week. Most of the time, $480 to $500 something dollars, and I am a heavy equipment operator for the railroad. This is bullshit. They gave me 15 minutes. Not once did they let me or ask me any questions that I had any concerns about her income expense report that I have here, or the fact that I drive 57 miles one way just to pick up my son, and she only drives about 9 miles. On Sundays on a drop-off, she drives 28 miles. I drive 41 and a half fucking miles. On certain days where I take her all the way back to his mother's house, I drive 67.8 miles one way. And then on her fucking paperwork, she decided to use my Anthem Blue Cross as she pays medical $369. She came up with a number of $369. She doesn't pay medical for my children, yet it had nothing to do with any of this. They didn't ask me a fucking question about it. And then she put down that she has $300 in her expenses, $300 in daycare. He doesn't go to a daycare. He is in school till 2:30 every day, and then he's with her. She completely admitted in the Zoom call that she has not paid any daycare in the past 3 months, yet it's on her expense report. She is a single mother with one child, a 6-year-old. She states that she pays $750 in groceries. I have a family of 7, 5 children, 2 stepdaughters, 3 of my own, and I pay around that much, if not more, for groceries, yet it had nothing to do with my expense report. The way the justice system does us fucking dads is absolutely bullshit. I have notes that they didn't even ask about of every time I FaceTime my son, every time I picked up my son, date, location, time, everything. Not once did they ask me about anything or any of my concerns. They only asked her. And then when it was all said and done, they only dropped my child support from $860, $100, just a shy of $100 less. And then they hung the fucking Zoom call up, and I had nothing to say. Fuck you baby mamas that think that they can control their children, and us dads who actually are good. Fuck the child support system.
The anti-family courts only care about the money because they get a cut. On top of that, the federal government matches the money that they get. So, our tax dollars are incentivizing theft without our consent. Instead of going to firemen or fixing the federal roads, our tax money is given to criminals who rob men. Even if the guy was allowed to state his case, it's all up to the judge who needs the child support to pay off their third house. These courts aren't real courts, because women are allowed to commit perjury. There is no jury trial, and there's no discovery unless if the court is trying to find secret income sources from the man. One woman commenter says, "Get a lawyer." Clearly, she's ignorant. Women get lawyers for free in these cases because lawyers know the court is biased against the men. Lawyers are the only profession that gets paid for trying and not achieving the win. And someone replied, "Family court is a scam. Usually lawyers and judges know each other and will ultimately just drain both parties. There's a documentary on it." The father is going to have to do what screws him over the least. How many years of that lowered child support till he breaks even paying for a lawyer to lower that child support? You have to shell out thousands up front as a response from that comment stated. That's easier said than done. I'm fighting in Texas right now, and when I talked to a lawyer, they quoted me $8K. We can't afford that. If the father is barely affording child support payments, how is he going to pay thousands of dollars upfront for a lawyer? Sell his car so now he can't get to work on time? Not pay rent for a couple of months so he has to live in his car? Another response. Rolling on floor laughing. I got to pay for her lawyer. Tried to get public assistance, but they said I made too much. She took 73% gross off the top. Just goes to show, in these Western gynocentric society, the best investment women can ever make is not building a business or making a bet in the stock market, but just opening up their legs to the right guy and they'll be set for 18 years. Another man wrote, "Must live in Florida. I went through a very similar situation. I even went with an attorney for men's rights. What a waste of $7,000 that was."
Would you believe me that anybody here in this room could be sued for paternity by someone you don't know? You never met her, you never touched her, but if your name shows up on that judge's paperwork and you don't show up at that hearing, you can be ruled the father of a kid that you don't know, that you are unrelated to, simply because you didn't show up at that hearing to assert your defense, saying that it's not mine, I don't know her, I didn't touch her. And some of the mothers have gotten so slick with this is that they put their own address down for service of process. If she's going to get the papers for the lawsuit, how is the guy going to know about the lawsuit? I'll tell you when he finds out. He finds out when an income deduction order is issued by that court to get his resources. And a judge said, yes, this is unfair, it's unjust, yes, it's fraud, but according to the laws of California, you didn't challenge it in time.
The anti-family courts will allow women to commit fraud as long as they get a check. And those single mom criminals won't go to jail for what they did. It will take extra thousands of dollars and hours to prove this in court. Meanwhile, your wages will still be garnished in the process, and you'd be lucky to get that money back. Hopefully, these stories of men getting screwed were enough to make you think twice before marrying or having a kid with a modern woman, especially in the West. If you hate paying regular taxes because the roads aren't fixed yet, you're going to hate it more when the judge doesn't lower your child support after you proved you make less money. And start supporting politicians who back and advocate for men's issues. Because the destruction of the West all starts with the destruction of the nuclear family. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.